When I started this video game show, I set out to review every Godzilla video game ever made. But I found there are some games that are just out of reach for one reason or another. For example, there's a game called CinemaScope Adventure Godzilla. This was released in Japan in 1984 for PC 8801 and FM7, so it's a bit inaccessible to me. This is a text-based game which adapts the very first 1954 Godzilla film. The following year, in 1985, another PC 8801 release dropped called New Godzilla. Again, it's text-based, this time adapting The Return of Godzilla. Take a look. This is what games were. Another 1985 game from Japan was Fierce Dragon Godzilla Metropolis Destruction. This was out for FM7 and X1 computers. This game appears to be a good old-fashioned kaiju simulator where you're Godzilla walking around destroying stuff. Look at this newscaster flipping out in the corner, I love it. Here, Godzilla's atomic breath looks like I-beams, but they're I-beams that are coming out of his mouth. There's a 1993 Godzilla game for the PC 9800 series. This Japanese release appears to be another strategy game, point and click. I can't play mine because it comes on floppy disks. There are other PC games and promotional discs I haven't talked about on this channel yet. Some I can't access, some I'll show you in the future, but we don't have to go that deep into the weeds today. Sometimes I can access the game, but I don't feel like I can give it a fair review because the language barrier is just too strong for me to break through, so I struggle to play the games accurately. Still, I'd like to acknowledge them and have a little fun. One of these games I'm talking about is Archipelago Shark. Shark! Archipelago Shark. Is Archipelago Shark. I can't stop saying it now. Archipelago Shark. Archipelago Shock. A 1995 battle simulator developed by Sega and released on their Sega Saturn in Japan. It never came to the States. For those of you who don't know, an archipelago is like a chain of islands that you can Hey, what are you doing, man? The video game review? Oh no, you're stepping on my lines! I'm supposed to do the for those of you who don't know part. No, I said we're not doing a sidekick. Oh, come on! I'm such a good idea! We're not doing it! We're not doing it! Could you at least tell the people what I am? I think the people know what you're supposed to be. You need to say it. I'll go after you say it. It's a bearded clam, okay? It's a fucking vagina joke. In this review about a Godzilla battle simulator, Christ almighty. No, that's too much. This is gonna be a short review because I don't speak Japanese and battle simulators aren't my genre. Watching this in 2025, you might not be grasping how different this was. A Godzilla video game using decent full motion video like this, with the full score like this? Maybe that's why this montage kinda drags on. Maybe they were really milking it. Any day now. Okay, here we go. Starting the game brings more video with a text crawl talking about Godzilla's origin. It takes a little time. Basically, you work for the JSDF and you need to stop Godzilla by boring him to death. Where is the game? This is now the third Godzilla battle simulator I've reviewed, the others being War of the Monsters on NES and Giant Monster March on Game Gear. One thing that makes this one meaningfully different is this isometric angle and really nice monster graphics and animations. I enjoy seeing the monsters fight each other. Somehow I BS'd myself into level 2. This one's got some Mothra larvae out to find an egg. I guess they're expecting a younger sister. Here's a little fun fact about this game, by the way. It's one of like 30-something Sega Saturn games that works with a Saturn mouse. This game is brimming with monsters. It came out in 1995. just in time to get Destroyer in there, and other fun additions from the Heisei era. In addition to monsters from the Showa era. I don't think the level layouts are meant to represent movies, as you'll see things like Rodan fighting Batra, or multiple Mechagodzillas. I'm sure if you put in the work, you could actually figure this game out despite the language barrier, especially if you're familiar with battle simulation basics. But I don't got that kind of time, man. I gotta move on. Hey. Said we're moving on. Hey. Shuck you, man. Shuck. Alright, that was pretty funny. In the late 90s, Sony's Godzilla ruled the world. The earliest video game he got was in 1997 on Godzilla.com. It was called G-Patrol VR Combat Simulator. This game was lost for a while, but as of this video, it's on archive.org. So I guess I can play it. But I don't want to. What is that? Before there was red, there was yellow. There was a multiplayer online game called Godzilla Online. And this was pretty fleshed out. You could be a scientist, a soldier, a reporter, or a baby Godzilla. As you might imagine, this game is no longer available even if you have the disc. TriStar Godzilla also appeared in the 1998 game Godzilla Trading Battle, a card game for the Sony PlayStation only released in Japan. I'm gonna be even more lost on this one. I've never played a collectible card game in my life, and now I gotta play one in Japanese? Might as well ask me to learn violin while driving stick. Well, at least I got to hear the most banger PlayStation intro ever. There's the sugar.
1954.
Yeah, this part's in English.
A monster was born. 1998. It has returned to the game.
That's right, I've returned to the game. It's either play or get played. Just look at this intro. Hell yeah! Godzilla, King Ghidorah. Wait, back up, Vagno. Oh, okay, Destroyer, Mothra, Batra. Wait. Okay, Biolante. Wait! This game has original monsters like Vagnosaurus. And there's Razin, Girumu. Fuck you, man. Then the TriStar Godzilla gets its own little introduction, and this looks really good in my opinion. Well, after seeing all these monsters, I am hyped. Let's get to the game. Alright, there's Monster Island. Apparently these two little shits are running around it. Oh, okay, these kids have been talking to monsters since they were little. Do we need all this lore for a card game? Here's the professor and they're still talking. I'm 7 minutes into my captured footage and there's no game. Who's this? Stop adding characters! Oh, thank God stage 1 is starting. There's more? Why are we in New York City? Oh God, don't make me knock these things down, please, God. There's still so much talking. Okay, maybe now we'll... No! Who the fuck is this guy? Galactic Empire Commander? Now there's aliens invading! Where are the cards? And I can't skip any of it. They talk so much they might as well start a podcast. Roughly 10 minutes later, and finally a game board. That's 10 minutes I could have been... scrolling nonsense probably, if we're being honest. Another isometric angle. This game's got a huge roster of monsters, including some bullshit monsters it pulled out of its ass. And as you saw, this game makes a point to welcome Godzilla 98 into the Toho monster family. But all in all, visually, as far as I know, it looks fine. As I said, I don't know this stuff. And again, perhaps, if you are familiar with these games, you'll be able to figure this one out, even with the language barrier. Returning to the category of games that don't exist anymore. An example is Godzilla Monster Mayhem, which was available on mobile devices in 2009. It's long gone now, but still accessible via emulation. This footage is from my pal Toku Society. It's got a city destruction element, and it looks pretty okay. That's a cool Godzilla. It's got a little attempt at lore. Why does this guy look so familiar? Who is he? Wait, you gotta be What is that? Is Godzilla fighting a ball? It looks like Pee Wee Herman's aluminum foil ball. Mothra, finally another monster. Also, there's King Ghidorah, not bad looking at all. Apparently, this is one of 2 games under the Monster Mayhem title, both by India Games, the other being a fighting game. The 2014 legendary Godzilla movie brought along some temporary games. I've touched on some of the mobile games before, like Smash 3. I actually enjoyed that one. There was a free-to-play web browser game called Godzilla Crisis Defense, and this was a resource conservation-based strategy game that leans heavily on video clips from the film. Technically, you can still play this one through the Wayback Machine. As of this video, it's still functional. From here out, things get real messy. There's a 2016 mobile game, Godzilla Kaiju Collection. I've spoken about the Shin Godzilla VR demo before, that's no longer accessible. There's the 2016 free-to-play online game Shin Arima, which put Godzilla in a horse racing game. How did I miss this one? How did I miss this?
And as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Remember to like, share,
No, and you won't be here next time. You're a one-and-done character.
We'll see about that.
It's decided.
Well, what about my friend One-Eyed Willie? God damn it.
Alright, that's funny. Have you ever watched a Godzilla movie and thought, I could make a better movie than that? Well, now you can put your money where your mouth is, tough guy. In 1998, Premier Systems developed an interactive video game called Godzilla Movie Studio Tour, where you, yes, you boss, would have access to raw Godzilla assets to make your own goddamn Godzilla movie. The game was distributed by Toho in both America with an English version, and Japan, who got a little bit of extra stuff. Godzilla Movie Studio was playable on Macintosh and Windows 95. Forget Disney's Hollywood Studios, forget Universal Studios, we're going to Godzilla Movie Studios. Starts with Godzilla and the biggest clapboard ever. Just another actor who thinks they're a director, I guess.
Welcome to our Godzilla Movie Studio. Godzilla Movie Studio is the theme park of Godzilla.
So the text says Toho Studios, but the voiceover is presenting this futuristic, theme park-esque studio as Godzilla Movie Studio. It's got a map, just like any theme park, and it also has centerpieces in the form of giant Godzilla and Mothra statues. Well, I'm hyped. This is gonna be the greatest movie studio tour since I stayed in the castle where Taylor Swift shot her music video for Blank Space. That is very, very true. What is this vehicle? Is it canon? I want a toy of it. So everyone on a tour gets a personalized hover car with an AI system that looks like the alien Klaatu. Alright, we're starting our ride into the Godzilla Movie Studio, and I think the stuff I just smoked is kicking in because... Whoa! Wow, I'm here. Can I click anything? No, I gotta wait for this 70s theme song to end. Alright, now we're in business. Now, why can't I just walk around the studio? Maybe it's all radioactive. Our first stop is the film studio to make a Godzilla movie. Klaatu explains that I need to choose from one of the 3 movie titles, Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, vs. Mothra, or vs. Space Godzilla. We'll do Mothra. And here's how it works. Basically, you get rows of scenes, and for each scene, you choose from one of 3 clips. So I guess I'll open on the island, and the next shot will be the island again. You can't have too many establishing shots. I'm already bored picking scenes. You're not gonna build a narrative here. You're basically creating a scattered montage of clips. You can try to assign an actual order of action, but why do that when I can play with my toys instead and make them do whatever? I wasn't expecting to make a toast tonight. I usually don't get invited to weddings. But I just want to say that, true love... Clicking to the left or right brings you some quick behind-the-scenes clips from various Godzilla movies, all using the same 5-second loop of room tone. That's maddening. Our next stop is going to be the sound studio. Maybe it'll be more fun to play with a soundboard of roars or something. So you select a movie from the selector. Wait, this isn't the movie I just made. I thought I was adding sound to my own movie. Alright, just hit random sounds. What is this, a cowbell? Did a dude just throw up somewhere? These sounds don't match at all. What is this, a Criterion release?
Hey!
Screw all this, we're going to the publicity department. Advertising and promotions is something I know a little something about. Your mission is to create a poster for a new Godzilla movie premiering in the year 2XXX. That could be any year in the rest of our lives. Look at these background options. This one looks like it came right from Godzilla vs. Hedorah. So you can just drop some Godzilla cutouts. Can't resize them or turn them or anything. And the other monster here is Bagan. Bagan is a kaiju who, before this, only officially appeared in Super Godzilla on the Super Nintendo in 1993. And he has a long history of almost appearing in Godzilla and Mothra movies. So his appearance here is kind of a big deal. But not a lot of people talking about Dogalas, another super obscure monster here. It looks like he just flew in from Contra. Alright, let's look at our movie title options. Battle of Three Monsters. Boring. Godzilla vs. Dogalas. What kind of terrible titling is this? All of these look terrible. If we quickly jump to the Japanese version of this game, where the titles are written out in Japanese characters, just look at how much more epic they all look. Alright, my poster is done. It looks pretty bad, but it's still better than the poster art for No Way Home.
Hey!
Over here we can use the Skywalk. Guess that makes me a Skywalker too, huh, Ray? This is just a little 3D zip around the perimeter of the park. Doesn't really reveal anything besides new angles. Here's a kid's shop, but we're gonna circle back to that later. Alright, let's head to the theater and watch my masterpiece that I did not mix sound on or make a poster for. Ha! Imagine. Oh god, this is awful. Oh, what was I thinking with that choice? Oh my god, I'm never gonna work in this town again. This is amateur hour. Oh, I can't watch another second. Oh, I'm ruined. Oh, they love it. They love me. After making a hit movie, I love a trip to the library. And here's a gallery of Godzilla movie posters, including from the Heisei era. Remember, this disc came out in 1998. Some of these movies were only that year becoming available in America. There's also a generous amount of clips from each movie, focusing mostly on the visually appealing scenes. Now, why can't I just string these 5 clips together and call it a movie? The 3-frame gimmick here gets annoying the more you watch. Now I gotta drive my car around this fancy museum, hope I don't smash into a Mona Lisa. What is that? Is that a ghost of Godzilla? Maybe if I look closely I... Ah! The light. It's Rainbow Godzilla. So for each monster, you get a little biography. You get some stills, some roar files. There are a lot of monsters. 2 floors worth. Again, this is a pretty cool thing to have in 1998. Why is it that the movie-making part of this game is the worst and least interesting part of this game? As you can see, my only options here are visiting the museum or the library. But in the Japanese version of this game, you can visit this Shinto shrine. And there, you can receive a fortune from Godzilla. It probably says, "I'm gonna step on you later, because I'm Godzilla." There's a shop that has some cool things you could actually print out, like storyboard art or concept art. I wish the game would let me get a closer look without yelling at me for not having a 1995 Epson printer installed. There's also things like letterheads and cards, all sorts of free Godzilla printables. The whole shop is free. Klaatu hooked us up. So yeah, there's another shop, and it's the same idea, lots of free things to print. But this one's designated as the kids shop, in case you couldn't tell everything is jiggling. This art is seriously the most interesting thing on this entire disc for me. When you're all done, you could just leave the park. And you get some end credits, and then the game just dumps you back in your boring life. In 1996, there was a Windows 95 Simpsons game called Cartoon Studio, where you can make your own Simpsons cartoon. But you didn't just edit clips of the show together, you actually could choose scenes and manipulate the characters.
Look at me, I'm a birdie.
It was a lot of fun. I kinda wish the movie studio part of Godzilla Movie Studio Tour was more like this. Still, for what it is, it's got a pretty cool library of stuff for a world that was still largely offline. To get a disc with this data officially released in America was kind of a big deal, so I'll give it that. But as a game, it's awful. It's just awful. 2 stars! So that's the story of Godzilla Movie Studio Tour, a game probably most notable for its poster section, an obscure kaiju that I can make dance around. Behold, a lost treasure! A Godzilla video game so obscure, I could barely prove the goddamn thing exists. Yeah, I could hardly find anything about this on the web. This game is called Godzilla and Friends: Uproar on Monster Island. Why? What? Great Attack! That's actually the full title. And when you see this game, you'll also be asking, why and what? Godzilla and Friends came out as an educational CD-ROM game in 1997. It comes from Spike, makers of hit DVDs like Virtual Date with Sakai Yumi, Virtual Date with Suo Rieko, and Virtual Date with... Oh, get that out of here, that's not real! The game runs on older Macs or Windows 3.1 and Windows 95. Well, luckily, I was able to get a virtual machine running. Oh man, that sound is Gen X ASMR. Bad news! This is the only time you're gonna hear an authentic roar for the rest of the video.
Godzillaと仲間たち、怪獣とは大騒ぎ。
So in this game, you play as Baby Godzilla. He comes out and introduces himself. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, all the kaiju talk in this game. As usual with Kid Godzillas, the plot here is that you can't breathe fire or anything, so therefore you have no value to your father. Then you choose if you're a circus freak or a freak of nature, and you enter your name. In Japanese, so we'll try to skip this. You're on Monster Island with a couple of other kaiju. You have the option to switch between the 4 seasons. Different seasons will bring different kaiju out. When you click on a monster, it starts their minigame. The monster will appear and tell you how to play. In this game, King Ghidorah will request an animal, and you have to manually stop each slot in the slot machine to complete a picture. When you're correct, a baby Godzilla will hatch from the egg. Get 3 babies and you win. When you win a monster's game, you collect the icon of that monster. Collect all the icons and you win. Listen to these goddamn voice actors. I feel like they just grabbed software developers from the office and threw a script at them.
いやー、僕は花と見合わせてお花見ステージの
Anyway, Megalon wants you to make flowers consisting of specific petals and stems.
葉っぱはどれかわかるかな？上から選んで正解。
You play the exact same game with Mothra as well, and I'm glad they got an actual female to voice her, even if they did just pull Trish from accounting.
これではありませんよ。正解。それでは種はどれかしら。
Mechagodzilla wants you to look at a fruit and then create an image of that fruit's cross-section.
いや、僕は果物を切ったらステージのメカゴジラ。
This game is easy, but a bit of a chore. Come here, guy. You can't catch me. I want to click you. Come here. Catch me, you guys.
やあ、よく来たね。
It's the same game with Gigan, only this time you're matching different versions of the same animal. Male and females, I guess. Oh, and have I mentioned how spectacular all the music in this game is? I haven't? Good. I'll be honest, I never quite figured out the Biollante game. It looks like you get a picture of a young insect and you take turns flipping leaves to find the adult version. The first person to get 3 points wins. But it's more of a game of luck, and for whatever reason, Biollante always gets to go first. Also, Biollante is voiced by a dude.
やったぜ、当たりだ。これはアゲハチョウだ。幼虫に触ると角を出すんだ。これが臭い。
This guy's gliding in like Batman.
僕は声の虫を探していた。
There's just something wrong about forward-facing Rodan. It's like when the Simpsons face forward. It's not right. This game is probably the hardest one due to the language barrier. Because when you don't know exactly what you're looking for, it becomes just a game of luck. This game is for babies and you can't do it!
Yeah, 僕は尻尾を合わせましょう。
Here's Hedora with another slot machine game, this time with sea animals. And I feel like the voice actor for Hedora is the only one in the game who actually tried to be a character. Even if that character is an exhausted old woman. And I named my third cat Brian Wilson because I had sex with Brian Wilson in 1972. And why the hell is Hedora in the ocean teaching me about fish? In the movie, she would have killed all these fish by now.
違うよ。
So that's all the monsters, but what happens when you actually click on Godzilla? Do you get a minigame? No, you get a song! What the fuck? There's a pretty winter song about the process of hibernation. Here's a traditional Japanese tale. Just because Godzilla destroys Japan, it doesn't mean he doesn't respect the culture. And again, that's all these levels are. You don't have to do anything but watch. And you'll automatically win the appropriate icon.
素敵なアイコンをプレゼントするよ。
Oh, fuck you. This one's a rap song. Yeah, we're keeping it real. Rapping about the tough shit in life like cattle, flowers. Word to your Mothra.
よくできたね。君にこの船をプレゼントしよう。
Once you get all of the icons, you're given a raft.
Baby Godzilla gets in the raft, and you control his placement to dodge obstacles. For each season, you have to stop and answer one trivia question, like this one here. What is not hazy in Australia? Can you take it? God damn it, Google Translate!
If you answer correctly, you get to proceed down the river. Answer wrong, and you die.
残念。答えは
Because apparently this Godzilla can't breathe fire or swim. Useless Goji.
Oh, there's that hot air balloon I left by the waterfall.
早くその気球に飛び乗って。ほら、火を吹くんだ。
He's not going anywhere. Fucking move, what are you doing? Oh, I gotta hit the fire button. There he goes. You fly to an area where all the monsters are cheering and not fighting for whatever reason. Also, why do the monsters who are closer look further away?
Your father pops in from visiting his mistress to tell you you've now earned his respect. Then he presents you with a certificate with your name on it, which you can then print and staple to your college application. Only one thing to do now. Burn the whole fucking game down! We got some crazy credits with another hit song. Seriously, where can I buy the soundtrack to this game? And then the CD just says, fuck it, and it drops you back on your desktop. What? I guess it's over.
In the grand scheme of Godzilla things, this game feels like such an oddity.
From the character voices to the weird background tracks, to the fact that in most cases, there could be any characters in this world. It could literally be any other intellectual property.
Also, why is it called Godzilla and Friends? It should be called Baby Godzilla and His Dad's Friends.
I've never heard of this game before I got my hands on it, and even now I can't find a whole lot about it. However, I do know this game is just one in a series. Yeah, there's more out there just like it. This includes a game about learning the Japanese language, and a game about how to behave.
And I've recently acquired what appears to be a cooking game.
And these games are all under the brand name Godzilla and Friends. These feel like they could have been classroom video games as opposed to games that kids played at home. Well, I'd love to find out more about this, and I'm gonna try. But for now, I'm just glad I don't have to watch Godzilla rap anymore. What? Man, check out my beats! Who the fuck is that guy? Is that a new character? Has he been here the whole time? What the fuck? Flowers filled with morning dew. Cows in the barn, they all say moo. From Legendary Pictures, the studio that brought you a so-so Godzilla movie and a pretty cool King Kong movie, comes the next thrilling chapter in the Monsterverse. You go smashing! Boom boom! Smoke rings! Manila. Where do I even start with this game? Alright, first of all, I like the Sega Dreamcast. I think it was a very underrated system that was a little ahead of its time. When the Dreamcast launched in Japan in 1998, one of the 4 launch titles was Godzilla Generations. That's cool. How often does Godzilla get to be a launch title? Now keep in mind, before Godzilla Generations, Godzilla games tended to look like this. And then along comes this next-gen game where you can control a 3D Godzilla. And you can finally just cut loose and smash cities. You work your way across Japan, and the whole time, real music from the film is playing. At the time of this release, Generations should have been a G-fan's wet dream. Nope. 2 stars. Since it's a Japanese game, Godzilla Generations won't run on an American Dreamcast system, but there are a few easy workarounds. What I do is load up this disc of game cheats. Then I switch discs to Godzilla and it works perfectly. So at the beginning, you only have two choices. You can either be Godzilla or Mechagodzilla. Let's get the biggest flaws out of the way first. The camera and the controls. As you can see, the angles automatically change. A lot. I'm not doing this. This is automatic. The controls are flimsy to begin with, but when combined with the camera angle changes, you're gonna wish you were in one of these buildings being destroyed. Especially for me personally, I have no sense of direction to begin with, and I don't do well when angles suddenly change in games. It's why I personally can never get into 3D Sonic games. Look at that shit. Look at this shit. I suck. But this is absolutely Generation's biggest weakness. There are more angle changes here than in a Michael Bay movie. So your goal is to destroy as much of the city as you can before the time runs out. Oddly enough, the first two levels are the game's worst levels. There isn't much city to destroy, so to get your score up, you have to step on tiny houses and trees. Look at this, why are the trees exploding when I step on them? When you get to the buildings, there's not much to do besides just kind of walk through them. Seriously, this game should have been called Godzilla Bull in a China Shop, because that's what it is. You're just clumsily smashing into things like a drunk asshole. Each monster has two special moves. Godzilla can self-charge his radioactive breath, or there's a slowly regenerating fire breath he can use. I like Mechagodzilla's moves more. Check out this shit. Yeah, I'm Mechagodzilla. Here comes a full face of Godzilla's crotch. I'm pretty sure this is the first game where Godzilla outright teabags you. Aside from the shitty controls, the game is incredibly easy. You're never gonna run out of time. There are no monsters to fight. The military attacks you, but you can self-heal just by roaring. The goddamn Super X2 appears, but it's mostly harmless. You don't have to take it down. I don't even know if you can take it down. Come here. Come here! Here's how I get through this game. I just keep my eye on this map in the upper right-hand corner. I focus on steering the arrow over all the little dots until they all just disappear. I barely even look at the rest of the screen. Exciting, right? Yeah, this game gets monotonous pretty fast. Thankfully, I'm on the last level right now. We need to end this shit so I can do something more fun like smash my nuts with a hammer. Ah, thank God we did it. Now I can end this goddamn review. Wait, what? I can't end the review? Oh, when you beat the game, you unlock a character. Well, fuck, I have to keep playing. See, when you beat the game as Godzilla, you unlock First Godzilla, hence the Generations in the title. He looks like shit. You guys know I'm not the kind of guy who complains about game graphics, but look at this, and then look at something like Crazy Taxi. I don't know, it feels like they could have done at least a little bit better with Generations. Guess what? I have to play the entire game again to unlock the next monster. Don't say I never did anything for you guys. Here we go. Okay, now we get Godzilla USA. This was before they started calling him Zilla. Godzilla USA is such a weird patriotic name like Godzilla USA! Fuck yeah, America! I like Zilla in this game because his special move is he can run fast, so I can clear the levels much faster. America, yeah, USA! USA! I'm gonna punch him out and gonna fuck an eagle! God bless the USA! Alright, now let's see who we've unlocked. And it's Manila. Hey, is this the only Godzilla game to date where Manila is a playable character? Let me know in the comments. Look at this nonsense! Manila is a mass murderer! Look at him killing everyone while this doofy music plays. It would be like if Anakin Skywalker were killing baby Jedi and then they started playing the Cantina Bar music. Manila's first special attack is he blows smoke rings like a sexy cowgirl who's too crazy for a guy like me. His second attack is he throws a fucking fit! He looks like a toddler having a temper tantrum because his mom won't buy him the new Paw Patrol playset. In reality, these taller buildings would fucking kill Manila if they toppled on him. Hey, you ever want to see what it looks like when Manila dies? Because I do. So let's hold hands and watch it happen together. I did it. I played through the fucking game 4 times. I've atoned for all the sins I've committed on this earth and then some. Let's see who I unlock now. 60s Godzilla, burning Godzilla. Who did I get? Dr. Serizawa, what the fuck? What the hell is in this drink? Is this real life right now? Yeah, we're really through the looking glass now. I am now a giant Dr. Serizawa destroying Japan. What? For anyone who doesn't know, Dr. Serizawa is one of the main protagonists in the first Gojira film. He was a scientist who created the oxygen destroyer, the only technology capable of killing Godzilla. But he was hesitant to use it because he was afraid his science would be continuously used by the military. Well, this Dr. Serizawa doesn't give a fuck! He's got a giant oxygen destroyer capable of killing a dozen Godzillas and probably wiping out humanity. As a special move, the bomb emits lightning bolts? Why? Maybe in the movie, Serizawa was mutated by Godzilla's radioactivity before he detonated the bomb. That makes sense, but then how do you explain his other move when a goddamn laser cannon comes out of his eye hole? How much crack were they snorting when they made this game? Why did they make Serizawa a playable character? They had all the monsters! Why him? Look, to heal himself, he prays to God, and God heals him. God wants him to fuck up Japan, probably for making this game. Yeah, the whole country has to pay for Godzilla Generations. Who will I unlock next? A giant Godzilla turd with machine guns? No, thankfully it's over now. I should mention there's a second game on this disc. It's a card battle game featuring chibi characters, but it's all in Japanese. And I don't play those types of games anyway, so I'm not gonna go there. You can also watch Godzilla movie trailers, which is pretty cool. Look, I'm gonna give Godzilla Generations an E for effort. When you play it, you can see what they were going for. This just missed the mark in a big way with the camera and the controls. But this game is definitely the precursor to Godzilla Vs. On PlayStation 4, which is a game you guys know I love. If not for Generations, we might have not had Vs. There were a couple of times where Generations kind of looked like Vs. And there are a few things Generations does better, like no repetitive generator smashing, no military voiceovers. And it sure does have a sense of humor. If we had to go through Generations to get to Godzilla Vs., it was worth it. And I hope they take another swing at this formula in the future to aim for a perfect Godzilla simulator. So I'm not gonna hate on Generations too much. But I'm also not gonna play it much. Fuck this crazy game.
Well, just a year later, this game got a sequel. Did they fix the many flaws in the first Generations to create a more fluid experience? Did they add more forms of Godzilla from other generations? Did they switch genres and start all over? It's a Godzilla game, you know it's the third one. Godzilla Generations Maximum Impact is a 1999 Godzilla rail shooter game. There's only one Godzilla in the entire game, so they could have dropped the Generations part and just called this Godzilla Maximum Impact. But the law says all Godzilla game titles must induce migraines. Instead, they should call it Godzilla Shoot Shoot Kaboom! I really enjoy this game. It's a Dreamcast exclusive, but it feels like an arcade game. I could totally see this in a cabinet in an arcade at the time. It's way more pick up and play than the original Generations. But a really cool aspect in this game is that it sort of walks you through the Heisei era of films in order. This is a neat game.
3.5 stars!
First thing you're treated to is an opening sequence, and look, it's like a rough cut for the Godzilla we'll see just a year later in the movie Godzilla 2000. This is pretty decent looking for 1999. The graphics are fine, but the music is ho-hum and the sound effects are very minimal. Still, it's great to see a late 1990s all CGI Godzilla in action. Not you! What is this, the opening for a late 1980s action film? A new CSI spin-off?
Tokyo streets. My streets. Who am I? I'm Godzilla, motherfucker.
Look at Godzilla feeling this groove. Godzilla is straight up pimp walking into this game.
Fuck yeah.
So you're not making Godzilla walk when you play. This is automatic. You control the cursor as his automatic breath warms up, and then after it marks its targets, you let go and let her rip. The longer it warms up, the bigger the blast. Once you get the hang of it, the act of marking all of your targets and then slicing them down from the sky actually becomes satisfying. Your first boss fight is Biollante, and look how cool she looks! You have to hack vines off her while dodging her counterattacks. And that's what this game is, half shooter levels and half boss levels. Like I said, the rail shooter levels are fun for what they are. But because this is a sequel to Generations, I can't help but think of how cool it would be if I could control this Godzilla model and smash the city like in the first game. Imagine Godzilla Generations with some of its major flaws corrected and the addition of these new characters. Next up is King Ghidorah, and you know it's going to be a gauntlet if he's the second boss. Well, you might have noticed already that we're going in the order of foe appearances in the Heisei era film series. And you might have also noticed that, like in those films, kaiju battles tend to have a focus on long-range attacks and laser shooting. Immediately after you defeat King Ghidorah, a baby Mothra pops out and tells you to keep it down. Well, okay, I could take one baby Oh, no, it's a swarm. I gotta kill all these babies.
Yo, yippee! Woo! Aye!
This game would work as a VR game. I feel like it would actually translate well to VR. Now that you are forced to go all Anakin Skywalker on the babies, you'll have to deal with an angry mom. Mothra looks great. Her wing motion is very fluid and still impresses me to this day. You've probably noticed that a fight with a flying monster in this game means things will get twisty-turny. By the time you get back to the shooting gallery level, it feels like it's been forever. I guess that's a good way of preventing me from getting sick of shooting helicopters too fast. For the boss of this level, you might be expecting Mechagodzilla, but instead we get SMG Second, which might mean the second Super Mechagodzilla? Although it's weird because his head looks like the head from Mecha King Ghidorah. Anyway, I guess we veered into a tangent universe, but if it means new characters, I'm in. After this, you're immediately thrown into another mecha fight. This one's called the MGR Second, which I guess in this case means the second Mogira. And I'd love to tell you more about both of these mechs, but as you can see in the instruction manual, they decided to just slap their pictures right over the English portions. It's bad enough this game didn't come to America, you gotta pour salt on the wound? After this fight, it's clear that Space Godzilla has arrived. We gotta clean up this mess he made, shitting all his crystals all over my city. Now it's time for Space Godzilla, and he doesn't look quite right. Wait, maybe those other mechas were supposed to be Mechagodzilla and Mogira, and they screwed up the character model so badly that they just renamed them and made them a bunch of new random characters. Oh yeah, no, that's not Mogira, that's MG, R, 2 times. Well, after Devil Space Godzilla is a shooter level, and then the Super X3! Yeah, that's the ticket. Annoying, just like every other Super X appearance in every other Godzilla game. After that, it's holy shit, looks like Todd McFarlane's Destoroyah! This character model belongs on a heavy metal album cover. He's not fucking around. Look, he killed me dead. I'd try again, but it's up to me to restore the timeline, and the only way to do that is for Godzilla to die.
There are no more Godzilla video games on the Dreamcast, but there are these Godzilla-themed VMUs. But we'll save that for another time. Godzilla the series was a Saturday morning cartoon that began airing on Fox September 12, 1998. It was a continuation of the Godzilla movie that had come out less than half a year earlier. The cartoon show ran for 2 seasons with a total of 40 episodes produced, and it performed fairly well. Personally, I like the series. I find some of the plots to be very creative. I like that we get to see actual monster fights in this universe. And I like this Godzilla. He's agile, he can swim, he can burrow, and he can be very fast. So when I heard about a video game where you could be this Godzilla, I was excited. Godzilla the series, the game, came to Game Boy Color in 1999 by Crave Entertainment and Crawfish Interactive. It starts with this brief animation. Not bad, nice coloring. When you start the game, you get some interactions from the characters on the show, represented by these still images. And they're talking in character, that's fine. God, their faces look weird. I always thought the human faces on this show didn't look quite right, so being forced to look at them here, whatever, that's not the problem. The problem is the game, because this is the game. You play as Godzilla, who's all the way to the left over here, half off of the screen. He continuously walks, and as he does, you're being attacked by itty-bitty soldiers, tanks, flying vehicles. That's kinda it. So if Godzilla is half off of the screen, and the things you're fighting are this small, it leaves a lot of screen space to waste. This screen is 90% background. This reminds me of when I drew Godzilla books as a kid, but I was too lazy to draw his whole body, so I just have his head peeking at the side of the page, and the rest of the body off page, and most of the page is blank. Turns out I was onto something there. Godzilla has 2 meters, a guard meter and a health meter. His guard meter goes down when he shields himself from the teeny-weeny bullets and missiles. His health meter goes down when he's hit. Both meters auto-recharge. Godzilla has way more attacks than he needs. He can shoot fireballs. He can swing his tail 2 different ways. He can punch. He can bite. He can stomp. They're all okay in their own right, but you won't use half of these, I promise. The levels are very loosely based on episodes of the show. For example, level 1 is based on one of my favorite episodes, episode 7, What Dreams May Come, where an insomniac undergoes experimental sleep treatment, and when he sleeps, he conjures up this monster called Crackler. But if you haven't seen the episode, I'm not sure you'd be able to piece that plot together by these dialogue sections. And like the show, the game has some dead Nigel jokes. I didn't realize that was supposed to be Nigel until the guy said it. Whatever. Midway through each level, you fight a boss. So here's the Butt Crackler, also half off the screen, leaving all this useless space between the monsters. I can fit a whole second game in here. Most of my attacks are useless because they can't reach him, so it's just gonna be fireballs and blocking for this fight. When Crackler's health is half diminished, he'll leave and the level resumes. Then after you play all that boring walking shit again, Crackler returns and you can finish him off. You get passwords, which is the only saving grace of the entire game. Was that supposed to be a Godzilla roar? That's some Dino Rex level ear assault right there. That's the game. Godzilla walking through levels with the sound of his footsteps being drilled into your skull because it's non-stop. Bam, bum, bam, bum, bam, bum, bam, bum. I didn't even turn the music off in options. There's just no music. Why is that option even there? Bam, bum, bam, bum, bam, bum, bam, bum. How do you even classify this game? Is it a side-scroller? A walk-end gun? I classify it as psychological torture because the game is a slog. Every level feels like a chore. This is busy work. And everything that comes at you is just so annoying. Now I'm in the ocean and here comes the yellow submarine. Help us. Is that a dolphin? Somebody strapped missiles to a dolphin and sent them after Godzilla? I've never seen a game where you have to blow up dolphins before. So long, and that's a lot of fish. Just fast forward this shit. It's all the same. The ocean, the jungle. It doesn't matter what the background is. It's just Godzilla sleepwalking through this shitfest. The boss is a helicopter. Fucking brilliant. You had all the monsters. Now I'm fighting giant mutant bees. That's because the enemy of this level is going to be the queen bee from episode 9 called the Hive. At least its whole body is on the screen. That's how low the bar is right now. Same shit, different backgrounds, but now it's Cyberflies from episode 5, The Winter of Our Discontent. And here the main boss is a tank. Take a bow, game! Next, you walk through some shallow water being attacked by squids from the second episode of the series, New Family Part 2. So this level's boss is Crustaceous Rex. But he looks awful! I wouldn't have even known who it was if I didn't look it up! He looks like a sad sack of shit! He literally looks like a sad sack of shit! He shoots some tar at your foot, which you have to stomp to get off. I'm bringing it up because this is the first time the game actually mixed things up a little bit. Oh, and remember how you have to fight virtually every boss twice? Well, Crustaceous Rex gets 3 rounds. It's like the game is trying to waste your life away. Look, it's the Heat Seeker from the cartoon show. I don't know why that's so exciting to see here. I guess I'm just clinging to anything at this point. The main antagonist turns out to be Cameron Winter. Or Cameron Winters. The game really can't make up its mind. There's no more monster fights from here on out. You fight a helicopter. You fight a tank. You walk, and you walk, and you walk. There's more walking in this game than all 3 Lord of the Rings movies combined. The main boss of this whole game is this base, and oh shit, I just died. For the first time. Because there's one more thing I didn't mention. This game is stupid easy. No cheat codes, I'm playing on normal mode, and Godzilla just walked through the entire game. I mean, yeah, when your meters auto-replenish and most of the game is spent fighting things Godzilla can barely even see, what's the threat? Anyway, this boss fight is much easier when I realized I could just keep destroying the tanks with stomps. After you beat the game, you're treated to this extremely short animation, which isn't bad at all. And then it goes into the credits, which you could have seen without playing the game. So it was all for nothing. 1 star! As usual, I will force myself to find some positive things to say. Although Godzilla is mostly off-screen, his sprite animation is pretty good. Even his death animation is somewhat impressive. If you're a fan of the series, you'll appreciate how the game pulls straight from episodes of the show and keeps to the spirit of the show and characters. And that's it. That's all I got. This game fucking sucks. They took the most agile Godzilla and turned him into a slow, boring sprite that walks through the entire game, and I'm gonna hear his footsteps for days now. Bam, boom, bam, bum, bam, bum. I would rather watch the Godzilla 1998 movie on a Game Boy Color than play this fucking game again. The only one who got off easy here is Nigel because he got destroyed early on. But I have good news, because they took another swing at this bat with another game based off of the Godzilla series, Godzilla Monster Wars. God, please, let them have made a good game this time around. It's the same game! They made the same shitty game twice! Is this a fucking joke? Are they trolling us? They actually doubled down on this shit! Yeah, it has some differences in the gameplay, but they actually made the game worse. Remember how I said this is the second worst Godzilla console game? That's because the sequel is the worst Godzilla console game. Monster Wars was a 3-part story that made up episodes 12, 13, and 14 of Godzilla the series. It featured the return of numerous giant monsters that have appeared in the cartoon show so far, as well as the return of the original Godzilla seen in the movie, now as a mind-controlled cyborg named Cyber Godzilla. The story culminated with the Junior Godzilla having to decide if he was loyal to his parent or his surrogate family of humans. It was really well done. Monster Wars is also the name of the second Game Boy Color game based on Godzilla the series. In my last video game review, I looked at Godzilla the series on Game Boy Color, and it was pretty bad. But with the sequel, they took the same game and made some changes that virtually broke it. This game once again comes from Crave Entertainment and Crawfish Interactive. Look, right away, they're reusing an animation from the first game. They just recolored it. What are you, Disney? The song is the same as well, although slightly different. There is some new animation, like this foot that just hovers over the street. I really thought that was going to come slamming down. Guess he's really watching where he walks. There's this little animation of a Godzilla head that, hey, it's alright. Good job. Heads up, urgent email from Nigeria. Don't reply, Randy, it's a scam. Yeah, we're doing the still heads with the dialogue boxes again, just like the last game. The first thing I noticed playing this game was, Godzilla can stop. He's not continuously walking like he was in the first game. And when he does walk, there's no more stomping sound. No more bam, boom, bam, boom. It's quiet. Man, it's really quiet. Turns out the only thing more annoying than the footsteps is no sound at all. I feel like I'm losing my mind right now. There's a little target now to give you a better sense of aim and a general idea where your fireballs will land. So now I have 3 meters, guard and health again, and fire. Guard puts Godzilla in a defense mode, health is how many hits he could take before he dies, and fire makes him launch a new fire attack. But unlike the first game, these meters do not auto-replenish. Now, they only go back up after finding a power-up hidden in some of the targets you hit. And this is where the game falls apart. Look how much guard I lose even if I tap the button. Fire goes down quick too. I'm terrified to use these functions. If you use your guard just a couple of times, that's it, you've got no more guard. And the power-ups don't appear all that much. And if you get a power-up, there's a chance it'll be not the one you desperately need at that moment. And you don't automatically get the power-up once it's revealed. You have to shoot it and hit it to get it. And this all makes the game really fucking hard. Even when I take it real slow and use my guard conservatively, I just can't make it to the first boss fight. To make it through this game, you've got to hit practically every tiny thing that comes at you. And more important, you have to hit whatever that tiny thing fires at you. Your aim has to be immaculate. There are target updates and special move level ups, but this game needs you to put in the time. And it can be done. The game can be played all the way through. It's a challenge, but it's possible. But eating a plate of fucking poop could be done. That doesn't mean I want to do it. I have no intention of spending my life practicing this game, so to show you the later levels, I'm gonna need a cheat code, which means I need to call on our favorite reoccurring character, Cheeto the Cheating Dragon. Hey MIB, it's me, your green pal Cheeto. Cheeto, you're looking more vibrant and animated than ever.
Check out my loop-de-loop move. Whoa!
Whoa, that looked incredibly expensive. If you use a cheat code to make yourself invincible, the game flashes this red light at you, almost to shame you. But look, it's the giant worm, who first appeared in the 3rd episode of the series DOA. Hey, the boss fight got music, why can't the levels get music? Godzilla's roar sounds noticeably better than it did in the previous game. Here's another city, and it's way colored in. They just dropped that old Microsoft Paint bucket everywhere. After playing more Ninja Godzilla and striking in silence, I'm up to the nanotech creature who appeared in the 4th episode of the series, talking trash. Now I'm back in the ocean. Will I be killing dolphins again like the last game? No, but I keep mistaking the submarine for a whale. Here you face a Cryptocleidos, who first appeared in episode 8, Leviathan. Now I gotta cheat my way through more Rainbow City just so I can fight the giant bat from the first Monster Wars episode. Even with infinite health and guard, which kinda makes it feel closer to the first game, it's a boring slog. It's not even worth talking about it in a level-by-level detail. And there also is less game. This game is shorter than the previous, but will probably take longer to play with all your starting and stopping. But there are no mid-level boss fights, at least. There's a part where Monique shouts, "Sacre bleu." It's supposed to be sacre bleu, a French cry of surprise, and when you're taking foreign language lessons from MIB, you know it's bad. But like, that's how exciting this game is, that this typo is exciting for me to talk about. Then Nick says, "Mother of God, that's the first Godzilla," and you face Cyber Godzilla. Yeah, the big boss of the game is the star of the Godzilla movie that was just recently getting all that hype. How the mighty have fallen. Also, it's interesting that they refer to this Godzilla as a she. The Godzillas are standing 6 feet apart for social distancing, so as usual, we only see parts of each of them. Cyber Godzilla is an exciting part of the Monster Wars cartoon event. Here, things fall kind of flat. And without the cheat code on, this match would have probably taken me days to beat. This whole game is brutal, but you won't believe the ending. It's the same ending as the first game, just recolored! Godzilla the series was a bad game, but Monster Wars feels like an unlicensed bootleg version of that bad game.
Sacre bleu, MIB! The time has come for me to change into my adult form!
Whoa, really? After all these years?
Yes, here I go!
No way. That is astounding.
Right? Okay, I'll see you next time.
When I criticized Godzilla the series, it had its defenders, mostly clinging to a fond nostalgia, but also vouching for its ability to entertain for at least a few minutes, which is the minimum requirement for a Game Boy game. Somehow, I think that even those people won't come back to defend Monster Wars. Also, why did they put Crustaceous Rex on the box if he's not even in the game? This game is so bad. I gotta give it... Stand back now! No stop! I'd rather play Godzilla Double Smash. I'd rather play Circus Caper. I'd rather play Godzilla the series. I'd play any of those games before playing Godzilla Monster Wars. I'd rather play a mobile game with Godzilla than... Oh, okay, maybe that's too far. Ever since I started this little Godzilla video game review show, I've been getting one game request more than any other. The California Raisins, The Grape Escape. On the Nintendo Entertainment... No, it's the Pipeworks trilogy of Godzilla fighting games from the 2000s. What could I even say that you don't already know? Of course these are awesome games. You think I'm here to debate that? They're objectively entertaining, even if you're not a big Godzilla fan. I'm not exactly breaking new ground here making a video about the first game in the trilogy, Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee. I've got no hot takes, no new insight, absolutely nothing to add to the conversation. Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee is the first in this trilogy of Godzilla fighting games developed by Pipeworks and published by Atari. It debuted on GameCube in America in October 2002, and then an Xbox version dropped in April of 2003. For this video, you're going to be seeing gameplay from the Xbox version, which is regarded as the better version. It came later and has a huge list of additional features, such as new arenas and new multiplayer modes, and it has Mechagodzilla 3, who's absent from the North American GameCube release. Not counting games connected to the TriStar movie, this was the first console Godzilla game released in America since Super Godzilla 10 years earlier? I mean, Battle Legends just barely made it out. The point is, this is the first big Godzilla game in a while. The fact that it was a 3D fighting game with 12 playable monsters was mind-blowing. And here's our introduction, an epic little video showing our lineup. Before you even hit start, you know this is gonna be different. This ain't Monster of Monsters. Super Godzilla left in the dust.
Attention, inhabitants of the planet you call Earth. We are the Vortac.
The game's overall plot is straightforward. An alien race known as the Vortac plan to take over the Earth and take control of its monsters on Monster Island. Looking at Godzilla's history, it feels like every race in the universe has the technology to control our monsters, except us humans.
That is all. Am I still on? Oh. Well, we now return you to whatever it was you were doing. Idiots.
The whole thing does evoke the B-movie aspects of the Showa era of Godzilla movies, but at the same time, it's way sillier. This game isn't taking itself too seriously, but it's also found itself in a new world of self-awareness and parody that felt new for a Godzilla video game. And I could see why they needed to go with this tone, because things the monsters can do in this game are fucking absurd! At this point in time, I'd never seen Anguirus roll around like Sonic the Hedgehog. I'd never seen this! Or that? That never happened in a Godzilla movie, what the hell? I think in hindsight, we forget how new these interpretations were in 2002, but they were somewhat necessary. If the game stuck with more traditional monster physics, fights might feel, well, more like the fights in Godzilla on PS4. Slower, lumbering, movie accurate, but lacking the playful energy. So the Pipeworks games broke a lot of the rules that were established at this point. Things move fast, they lean into the absurdities, they laugh at the face of physics. Honestly, the closest Godzilla movie I can think of that matches this vibe is Final Wars, which came out afterwards in 2004. All of this is to say that when Destroy All Monsters Melee first dropped, it threw a lot of new ideas and interpretations at us. Yet it did so while remaining true to the spirit of Godzilla and these monsters. The graphics work, the monster models look great. These review videos aren't so fun when I'm not just roasting the game, huh? Anyway, let's just do a really quick overview of the game itself, just the surface level stuff. There are gameplay modes like Versus, where you can fight your friends, Adventure, which is the story mode, Survival, where your health bar barely replenishes between matches, Melee, where up to 4 players can fight each other, Team Battle, where those players can divide into teams, and Destruction mode, where you wreck as much as you can. There's also a gallery where you can check out the things you've unlocked in those other modes. When playing through the story mode, you start with 4 monsters, 1990s Godzilla, Megalon, Anguirus, and Gigan. The rest will have to be unlocked through various means. Or through a cheat code that unlocks them all. It's your world, boss. And this adds Destroya, Godzilla 2000, King Ghidorah, Mecha King Ghidorah, Mecha Godzilla, another Mecha Godzilla, Orga, and Rodan. What a lineup! And don't tell me the next game's lineup was better. We're in 2002, 2003 right now. We're not up to the next game. It didn't come out yet. When this game dropped, Godzilla 2000 was only a few years old. It was crazy that you got to play as him, or Orga. At the same time, I remember being excited that Destroya was making his video game debut. Ghidorah and Mothra both appear but are unplayable, but it was exciting to see them. There are many locations to host fights: Monster Island, London, LA, Osaka, San Francisco, Seattle, Tokyo, and the Xbox exclusive areas like the Vortac homeworld. And if you make it toward the end of the story mode, the Vortac aliens will teleport you to their mothership to face their ultimate weapon, Mechagodzilla. Unless you're playing as Mechagodzilla, in which case you face Mecha King Ghidorah. If you win this fight, you get sent back to Earth, and the Vortac retreat with the old "but we'll be back."
But we will return, Earthlings. We will return.
On to the multiplayer modes. Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee was the first Godzilla video game to allow for up to 4 players at once. And whether you're playing 1 against 1 or 4-player Melee, what elevates this game to the top of the pile is its multiplayer features, again on the Xbox version. This game was born for Godzilla fan couch co-op, and it still scratches all those itches to this day. Controls are pretty intuitive. This is an easy pick up and play game, and it wouldn't take a noob long to get a handle of these controls. This makes the game so inviting to play with a friend. This is the game that built a community. 4.5 stars! Destroy All Monsters Melee is still a blast today. It's why the game has such a legacy, with attempts made to revive it. Everything you loved about it years ago is still there. It doesn't get old. I didn't have a GameCube or an Xbox when this first came out, so my first time playing this game came way later. I had a PlayStation 2, so I had to wait for the next game in the trilogy, Godzilla Save the Earth. Godzilla Domination is a lot of fun. It's an action fighting game published in 2002 for the Game Boy Advance. The character sprites look good, the controls are smooth and intuitive, and you can have between 1 to 4 players at once. This is one of my personal favorite Godzilla games. 4.5 stars! If you have a Game Boy Advance, get Godzilla Domination. Okay, thanks for watching. Oh shit, the video's still going. What else can I say about this game? It is kind of weird that the American box art for Domination is the same box art for Destroy All Monsters Melee on GameCube. They're completely different games. This is kind of like what happened with the box art for Godzilla Unleashed and Godzilla Unleashed Double Smash on Wii and DS respectively. Yes, they're companion releases, but the games are just so different. Domination has a few different modes you can play, which is really cool, including a customization mode. But let's play the default story mode. Now there are 6 kaiju to choose from, which is fine, but I really wish there were at least 2 more. It really feels like Gigan and Anguirus should be in this game, and I've read that they were originally planned to be in it. That's too bad. Let's be Godzilla. Whoa! Hey now! This is Kanimatsu, a news reporter, and Jesus Christ, what network is this? Listen, I'm no prude, I'm all in on sexualizing men and women. You just don't often see it in the Godzilla franchise. Connie must breathe through her belly button, because it's almost always exposed, even in Arctic environments. Is the producer making you do that for ratings, Connie? You don't have to do this, put a sweater on! She explains that Meteor X is appearing over Tokyo 2. Tokyo 2, what is that, a sequel to Tokyo? And why is everything X in a Godzilla franchise? Planet X, Monster X, the year 2XXX, Super X, now Meteor X. There are 25 other letters, Godzilla. Like T and A. The meteor's projecting magnetic waves making all the monsters but me crazy. So it's time to kick some ass around Tokyo 2 Electric Boogaloo. The game plays very similarly to the King of the Monsters franchise. You smash cities while fighting your opponent, and it's just so satisfying. I love it. Look, when Godzilla gets dazed in a fight, he looks like he's about to sneeze. Rodan's special move is he burps in your face. Rude. But I think the most fucked up move is when Mothra suddenly makes a baby, and then the baby explodes. Take that! My baby! Yeah, the special moves are cool. To breathe fire, I have to hit L and R at the exact same time, but it has to be the exact same time. If I'm a millisecond off, it won't register. I really like how the stages mix things up. The icy stage makes you slip around a little bit, and there's a space level where the gravity is a little bit different. Those are some really nice touches that break the game up well. And look, there's a giant martini olive in the sky. You can pick shit up and throw it at other monsters. Sometimes when Godzilla holds a building, he looks like he's redecorating the city. I'll just move this building over here. Yeah, that's better feng shui. But it's also fun to pick up monsters and throw them. Yeah, fuck you! I look like I'm about to do a ventriloquist act with Mothra. What more can I say? It's not a groundbreaking game, it's just fun to play. If I had to nitpick, I guess I could say that a lot of the fights against the AI end up with the enemies stuck at the edge of the screen while you keep beating on them. But that's just a nitpick. I'm also not a huge fan of the bonus levels. I find them to be more long and annoying than fun. Oh, these fucking spaceships! The main villain in the story mode is Mecha King Ghidorah, and wait a minute! He's like way bigger than me! This is just like in Double Smash for Nintendo DS. What is it with these Nintendo handhelds making Mecha King Ghidorah so disproportionately huge? Mecha King Ghidorah is a royal pain if you don't know how to beat him. His stomp takes a huge chunk of your life away, and he could pick you up and toss your ass. Look at the doofy face Godzilla's making here. Derp! But once you catch on to a pattern, he actually becomes fairly easy. Stand in the middle row of squares and attack his heads. Then his chest will light up and you have to strike there as fast as you can. Rinse, repeat. Look at Godzilla drop-kicking his head, yeah. It becomes pretty easy to fight him without taking any damage at all, but it's still a bit of a challenge to defeat him within the time limit if you have the clock set to on. He takes a lot of hits, and there's not a lot of time to fuck up the pattern. When you destroy all heads, Connie poses all sexy on a tank in short shorts, because monsters destroying multiple cities is a great excuse to show some leg. Each monster gets a different ending, giving the game a little bit of replay value. This is a good Godzilla game. It's amazing to me that the next portable game on a Nintendo system took a huge nosedive in quality. You guys already know how I feel about Double Smash on Nintendo DS. It just goes to show you that better consoles does not automatically mean better games. And Domination is perfect for portable systems. I wish they'd release it in a smartphone app or port it to the Nintendo 3DS. Or hell, even a newer version of this game would be incredible as a $15 to $20 download in the PS4 store. Godzilla Domination is proof that there are good Godzilla games out there if you search for them. It's easy to find emulations of this game online. I recommend you play this game any way you can.
Godzilla Domination from 2002 is one of my top 5 Godzilla video games. Today I'm going to talk about the Japanese version of this game that is mostly similar to the US version, but has some key differences. Difference number 1 being the name of the game. Yeah, in the US, the art and logo of a different game, Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee, was reused under the title Godzilla Domination. They just put that domination right in there in that Scooby-Doo font. This game has fuck all to do with Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee, but it was kinda daisy-chained into that brand. In Japan, the game is called something that translates to Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee Advance. So for Japan, it's clearly a part of that branding line as well. But now the art is all new. The box art is in this cute chibi style, with a focus on Godzilla, Mothra, and Kiryu. And this is specifically because this game was connecting itself to the upcoming 2003 film Godzilla Mothra Mechagodzilla Tokyo SOS. There's even a special edition version of this release that came in a bigger box. Inside were these small, translucent figurines of Godzilla, Mothra, and Kiryu. And they were packed with the game itself. So let's talk about some key differences in the American and Japanese versions of Domination. There are some cosmetic changes in the actual game. In America, Godzilla is colored bright green throughout the game, while in Japan, he's a gray color. And I say, why isn't there a version with both? If it's that easy to change a color palette, then give us some other color variants in this game. But yeah, gray Godzilla. Otherwise, he's pretty much the same, it's just a color change. In America, we got the Heisei Mechagodzilla, but in Japan, it's a Type 3 design Kiryu. Mothra also has a change of color, of course. Once again, in Japan, she looks closer to her design in Tokyo SOS. She's more muted, more earthly. And everyone's operating pretty much the same. They just look different in Japan. For some reason, Japan has story options that are not available in America. In America, we just got story mode. In Japan, selecting story mode reveals 3 options: normal rules, survival rules, and adrenaline rules. Normal is pretty much the game we know, but with some changes. Number 1, there's no bonus round. You know that round in Domination with the UFOs flying into you non-stop? That annoying gauntlet of kamikazes that goes on forever? This level doesn't exist in Japan. Oh, thank God. The order of the stages in the 2 versions is different. Fights are moved around. For example, in Domination, the second stage is a 2-on-1 match, while in Japan, it's a 1-on-1 match. And in the Japanese version, the other monsters in the game are chosen at random. Survival is like the normal default game, except you have no continues and you can't refill your health. That's it. In adrenaline mode, oh man. All of your special power meters rapidly refill, making each match a special move fest. This mode is a lot of fun. And you get your health refills and your continues too. The character balance is obviously off in this mode. You can make it challenging by playing as someone like Godzilla, but if you want to breeze through the game, you can be Rodan or Megalon, because their special moves cause a lot of damage fast. Those are the major differences in these games. Thankfully, this isn't a case like when I compare the American and Japanese versions of Godzilla on Game Boy, where the games were dramatically different to the point of feeling like two separate games. This is to say, I already loved Godzilla Domination, and now it turns out there's a slightly better version of the thing I love, and hell yeah, this gives it like a quarter more of a star. If you love Domination, you should definitely check out the Japanese version for its character variations and new game modes. And if you don't love Domination, then what the Is Godzilla Save the Earth the best Godzilla video game ever made?
Many say it is, but let's take a look. Ooh-wee, this is it! The video game review so many viewers have been waiting for all these years. The one that's on the top of so many best Godzilla video game lists. Ooh! I've explored the Godzilla game pits of hell, and now it's time to ascend to the peaks of heaven. I should just give it a 5-star rating now so we can all go home early, right? Well, no can do, bub. I captured all this game footage and I gotta do something with it. Godzilla Save the Earth is the second in this trilogy of Godzilla fighting games developed by Pipeworks and published by Atari. Many of folk consider this the peak of the Pipeworks trilogy. The Empire Strikes Back, The Godfather 2, The Breaking 2 Electric Boogaloo. While the first game, Destroy All Monsters Melee, was on GameCube and Xbox, this game was on PS2 and Xbox. Yeah, Nintendo sat this one out. Both the Xbox and PS2 versions dropped in November of 2004, with the PS2 getting a 2-week head start on the Xbox. In this video, you're going to be seeing gameplay from the Xbox version. This game came out the same year as Godzilla Final Wars, so for once, the bonkers game was released at the same time as a bonkers movie. Remember those Vortak aliens from the previous game? Well, 2 years later, they're back to give conquering us another go. Instead of this clown, we're dealing with Vorticia, the queen of the Vortak. Once again, they're mind-controlling monsters, because if a plan doesn't work, the best thing to do is just that exact plan again. Save the Earth takes what worked in the first game and just adds to it. More monsters, more arenas, more all of it! This time around, you start with Godzilla 2000, Godzilla 90s, Anguirus, Gigan, Megalon, and Rodan, with 12 more monsters locked. But we all know I could unlock them all with a simple cheat code, and for that, I'll need my reoccurring character Cheeto, the Cheating Dragon.
Hey, MIB!
Dude, cover your fucking mouth when you cough.
To access the cheat menu, you gotta...
Jesus Christ, Cheeto, what's wrong with you? Are you okay?
I'm afraid I'm not, MIB. I'm an old joke now. And like all old jokes, there comes a time I gotta die.
Nah, Cheeto, you still got some mileage.
It's been 5 years, MIB. My time has come.
Aw, man. Well, here's the cheat code. And look! Now we get King Ghidorah, Destoroyah, Orga's in the House, Baragon, Mechagodzilla 3, Mogira 2, Space Godzilla, Jet Jaguar, Mothra, Mecha King Ghidorah, Megaguirus, and Mechagodzilla 2! Oh! New undies, please. What a lineup! Biollante was fully developed and then scrapped, so you gotta play a hacked version of the game to be her. Once again, there are unplayable characters and things like Batra, the Super X3. This is a Toho playbox through and through. And like the previous game, I'm living out fantasy battles, lifting Destoroyah with Space Godzilla's psychic powers. Or laying the smackdown as Jet Jaguar. What is that move? What is that? Can I do that move? Save the Earth has a currency system, so instead of playing through the game repeatedly to get the unlockables, you can use the currency to unlock whatever you like, be it monsters or game art.
Where do old jokes go when they die, MIB?
I don't know, Facebook? Like the last video, I'm not here to reveal every nook and cranny of the game, just the basics. You've got your story mode, which now has these bonus games interspersed in it. I find them annoying, to be honest. Pick up the rock. Pick it up. Ah, now you got knocked down again. Once again, you fight your final fight on the Vortak mothership, and when you win, the Vortak retreat.
Not again! This can't be happening to me! Ah!
You don't get much of an ending, unless, I guess, you play on hard as Godzilla 2000, then you get an extra cutscene. There's challenge mode now with all sorts of task-driven special stages, which are basically those action mode bonus stages I just referred to. Challenges mode is a big addition, and there are a lot of mini-games you can unlock by playing them in the story mode. It's not quite what I'm here for, but many of you might enjoy this. Versus mode, where you can customize a one-on-one fight, and melee mode, which brings the chaos up to 4 players again for free-for-all or team battles. And last, there's survival mode, where a single player fights a gauntlet of monsters with low health replenishes.
And now, the end is here, and so I face the final curtain.
No, boo! Don't sing!
I'll make it clear.
I'm throwing Cheetos at Cheeto. One thing that makes me laugh for some reason is that very slight pause after you finish your final move, right before the announcer says KO.
KO!
I don't know, it's like that pause is just a little bit too long, and it's funny to me. I don't know why.
KO!
Monster Island, bud.
Come here, eat my tail. And you, kick, punch. It's all in the mind.
I got you now.
Hey, hey, put me down, you overgrown bird.
Ha 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 ha.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Firepower.
Ah, damn it.
S-Class mode, bitches!
Sucker punch. Ah. Now get out of here. And eat my atomic breath. Oh, I'm going Super Saiyan.
Sucker punch!
No. Firepower.
Ah, my robot bits!
You get out of here. And you get out of here. And also...
Fear Patra.
And one last smack into the mountain. I'm king of the monsters! Biatch! So, of the 3 Pipeworks games, Save the Earth was the first one I played, as I had a PS2 at the time. I constantly borrowed it from a friend, so I guess that meant I didn't need my own copy. It was surreal seeing these characters in a video game. I remember Jet Jaguar really stood out to me at the time. I was like, wow! I'm playing as that robot from that movie I grew up on. Amazing! Somewhat related, I remember being upset that the game had all these bonkers moves, but not Godzilla's tail slide. But yeah, if I have any nostalgia for these old Pipeworks games, it's for this one. Both this and Destroy All Monsters Melee are incredible games. I'd say this one only gets the edge for me because it's the same formula but with more. Although Melee came first, and you never forget your first. So is Save the Earth as good as they say? Yes, of course it is! Why do you think it's remembered so fondly? Fans are nostalgic for it, but it's also one of those cases where the format holds up very well and is still a blast to play today. 5 stars! Especially if you're with a friend, Save the Earth is just a good time, and a love letter to Toho's history, and a love letter to us fans. A modern version of this game would be amazing! Giga Bash with the Godzilla DLC a little bit scratches that itch, but I want the whole hog. I want to go apeshit in the Toho-verse on a modern console. But apparently that's too much to ask these days, which is why it's an extra blessing that these Pipeworks games are still fun to revisit. They do hold up so well.
This is it, MIB. I'm dying now.
Oh no, I've never watched a cheating dragon die before. What's it like?
Bleh.
Cheeto? Cheeto! Oh my god, he's not breathing! I can't believe he's actually gone. I guess I really do need to move on from this joke. Wow, it truly is the end of an epic.
I live, motherfucker!
Ah! How?
I cheated death!
It's the kind of punchline you know is coming, but you have to do it anyway.
Hey, MIB!
Ah! Wow, what in the actual...
Gotta wait a few seconds for YouTube monetization.
Fuck!
It's me, Fanny. Remember? Your #1 fan. I'm back.
Oh no, you're reoccurring?
When are you gonna finish reviewing the Godzilla Pipeworks trilogy?
Oh.
I cannot sleep until you finish the trilogy.
You haven't been sleeping?
You already reviewed Destroy All Monsters Melee, and you reviewed Save the Earth. You need to finish the trilogy and review Godzilla Unleashed, so I can sleep again.
I reviewed Save the Earth like 5 months ago. Are you saying you haven't slept in 5 months?
Hasn't been that long.
Christ, Fanny, I'll review the game, okay? I'll finish the trilogy. Fanny!
I can no longer distinguish between waking life and the dreamscape. What is even reality? MIB, where the hell am I?
Godzilla Unleashed is the third of the trilogy of Godzilla games developed by Pipeworks and published by Atari. It was released in 2007 for the PlayStation 2 and Nintendo Wii. And oh boy, these games really jumped around different consoles, huh? Destroy All Monsters Melee was on GameCube and Xbox, Save the Earth was on PS2 and Xbox, and now this game is on PS2 and Wii. There's no console that has all 3 games. Alright, let's get this Wii remote ready. Connect this nunchuck. Yeah, listen, I've said it before. I didn't have a Wii when it was huge, and I don't play mine often, so this whole thing's a bit of a challenge for me. Where's the cursor hand? I can't even find the cursor hand to turn the ah, there it is. Right from the start, Unleashed feels like a downgrade from its predecessors. The opening cinematic is less, well, cinematic, consisting mostly of a general fighting montage. Modes include story, brawl, training, a store with unlockables, and general options.
You know, the brain doesn't really need sleep. It just wants upside down purple turtle Miley Cyrus.
Poor guy, I gotta get moving. I'm gonna enter the cheat code that unlocks everything. And look at all of these monsters! While the PS2 version has 20 playable monsters, the Wii version has 26. And something new is they're divided into 4 factions: Earth Defenders, Global Defense Force, Aliens, and Mutants. You get Jet Jaguar, Mechagodzilla, King Caesar, Megaguirus, Mogira, Anguirus, Godzilla, Kiryu, Mothra, Baragon, Godzilla 1990s, Godzilla 1954, Varan, Mechagodzilla 2, Fire Rodan, Megalon, Orga's in the house, Violante, Tyrannosaurus, Destoroyah, Final Wars Gigan, King Ghidorah, Mecha King Ghidorah, Space Godzilla, and 2 new characters created only for this game. They are the mutants Crystalak and Obsidius. Quick aside, during development, IGN polled readers with 4 monsters to determine who'd make it into this game. Obsidius was one of the 4, and of course he won, but the other monsters were the Visitor, Lightning Bug, and Fire Lion. So now these 3 guys get to join the ranks of Godzilla monsters that could have been. Go have a seat next to Griffin and Berserk, you guys. Although the PS2 version has less monsters, it had Batra, who was basically a Mothra reskin, and Showa-era Gigan. Arenas include Monster Island, Tokyo, Sydney, San Fran, London, Seattle, New York, and a crashed Vortac spaceship. That's right, the plot of this game is that the Vortac are back. Again, 3rd time's the charm. And they're trying to retrieve Space Godzilla's crystals that have been appearing around the Earth. Vorticia returns from the previous game, and the story has some human characters, including Dr. Shiragami from Godzilla vs. Biollante.
Heading directly toward Earth.
Are they alien ships?
The cinematics are really toned down. It's now just still images with bad voiceovers, and the overall feeling of playful schlock from the story of the other 2 games is missing here.
They're headed right for us. There isn't time to launch countermeasures. Send out a global alert.
I find the story and the story mode to be blah, so I'm going right to Brawl.
Monsters, fight!
That was all the enthusiasm you can drum up for that? What is your mom asleep in the next room and you're afraid you're gonna wake her? Give it some oomph, man! That is one big-ass Biolante, my god. Alright, let's do this. How do you... I'm trying to... Get up, you ass! This is like prom night all over, because I don't know what I'm doing. These fights default to 10 minutes, and you're gonna need that time because this drags. Ah, she's puking on me. Endless puke. It is like prom night all over. Turn around, no! Am I playing a fighting game, or am I the new drummer from Metallica? This blows, I'm sorry. I know I'm doing some of these controls right, but the game's not being extraordinarily responsive. I actually do my best when I just ditch any type of strategy and just button mash and twirl these things around like a cheerleader. 2, 4, 6, 8, the other games were much more great. Aiming fire attacks is the worst. At first I was like, why is Godzilla only shooting up like it's the 2019 poster? But then I realized, of course, you need to aim with the remote itself. And it's still sloppy.
Hello?
Ah! Oh, hey Fanny.
I'm not waving to you. I'm waving to them. My fans. Hi.
You must be delirious if you think you have fans.
Remember all those comments I got last time? They loved me.
Fanny, nobody
Hello, am I on? Oh my god, I'm on. I am your biggest fan.
Oh no, another person claiming to be my biggest fan.
No, not you. I don't know who you are. I'm here for Fanny.
Fanny has a fan?
Yep. And also Fanny's fan has a fan.
Alright, that joke just cost me 3 subscribers.
After some practice, I can mostly get the hang of the controls, but I still don't enjoy them. Waving my hands around did not add any fun or excitement to this fighting game. The game has an overall sense of feeling half-cooked, unpolished, definitely a step down in presentation and gameplay from the previous games. Actually, that brings me to the power surges. Instead of rage mode like the previous game, monsters can destroy crystals to fill up on a critical meter. And when this meter is filled, the monsters reach critical mass, and they get bigger and more powerful, but they lose a cell of HP when leaving critical mass. Rage attacks are now power surges, and they can also be used once per battle, and no. None of that's doing it for me. All of these restructures and changes for the sake of changes, so the game feels different, they all feel a step backwards. It feels like Unleashed was the first game of the trilogy, not the third. The best thing this game's got going for it, and I think its highest point, is its match customizations. You can highly customize matches, so I can speed things up, dramatically lower the match time. Hell, I can even make everyone smaller so they don't hog up the whole screen. Look at this robot madness. I think it's here where you'll find the most fun in this game, especially if you're playing with friends. But it's still not enough to make this game feel overall better than the other two, especially with these Wii controls.
Do the voices.
Huh?
Show some game footage, and then do all those monster voices like last time.
You seem awake again.
I just snorted a small mound of wasabi. Let's go!
Wasabi. Hilarious. Where does he come up with these?
It's the rematch, assholes! This time, I'm not gonna win. I tell you will. Stop that annoying laughter already. That's it, I'm gonna hang back here and let you guys duke it out. Psych, eat this. Firepower! What? You're not supposed to be able to. Ow! Oh! Ow! My foot! Ow! 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 Crotch shot! Oh! If I had balls, that would hurt. I'm not trying to jump around like an asshole. It's the goddamn Wii remote. Get out of here! Stop growing! You're talking to me, Sub-Zero? My fatality move is shoving your head so far up your butt you disappear! I can't control this atomic breath! I can do that too! Titano breath power!
Well, it's settled. This is the worst pool party ever.
I know I barely touched on story mode, but it's because I don't like it. But I know it has its fans who enjoy that the different monster factions could have separate goals and outcomes. There are different endings to the story based on which monster faction you beat the game as. Where's the ending where Mecha King Ghidorah travels back to 2006 to convince Atari to put this game on Xbox instead of Wii? 3 stars! It's hard not to compare this to the other 2 games in the trilogy, but when you do, those other games run circles around Unleashed. On its own, in a vacuum, Godzilla Unleashed is a serviceable way for you to play as your favorite Toho monsters, and there are many here, and you can pull some enjoyment out of this with friends with the Brawl customization settings. Godzilla fans will no doubt be more forgiving with the game's setbacks, and appreciate being able to play as Biollante or Varan or whoever. But fighting game fans will be frustrated with the unresponsive Wii controls, and they won't be impressed with the overall rough edges on this game. The game's also noteworthy, of course, for the 2 new monsters, although so far this is the only place we've seen them in. Apparently this game was at one point planned for the PSP, but that was cancelled, which is a shame. This type of game makes more sense on a PSP than trying to force it to work on a Wii. And it would have been better than the Godzilla Unleashed spin-off game we did get, Double Smash on the DS.
Double Smash on the DS.
Alright, Fanny, I finished the Pipeworks trilogy. You can finally fall asleep. Like a sweet little big-bearded baby. You know, guys, I'm almost finished reviewing every Godzilla video game ever made. There's only a small handful left to cover.
What? Well, you must review them so that we can finish the list.
Oh no.
I will not sleep until you have finished reviewing every single Godzilla video game.
In England, Fanny means vagina.
Do you remember Godzilla Unleashed? The 2007 fighting game for the Nintendo Wii and PlayStation 2? Wouldn't you love to enjoy the kaiju smashing action anywhere? Imagine beating the hell out of other monsters while you're on the can. Wouldn't you love to play Godzilla Unleashed on your DS or 3DS handhelds? Well, fuck you! You're getting this shit instead! Godzilla Unleashed Double Smash. Oh boy.
It came out for the Nintendo DS in 2007. We're gonna play it on my 3DS.
It's got the same box art as Godzilla Unleashed for the Wii, but this is an entirely different game.
Double Smash is a 2D side-scroller, more similar to the NES classic Godzilla game Monster of Monsters. Oh shit, and also, I don't like this game. 1 star! I will say this, Double Smash makes decent use of the dual screens. It's a cool concept where you can form a team of 2 monsters, one who flies, and one who has to walk his lazy ass. It's a good idea for a side-scroller on paper, but playing this game's about as fun as playing with a fork and an outlet. All of the military is after you, firing like crazy. It's utter madness. There are jets, planes, tanks. Everyone's out to get you. And how could they miss? Look how big I am. Look, as King Ghidorah, I'm like half the freaking screen. I'm trying to hit them back, but there's just so many of them coming in guns blazing. Can you imagine if this rinky-dink Air Force could take down Mothra? I found it's almost better to just try and dodge everything and not even fire back. Look, it's actually been 5 seconds and my health bar hasn't gone down. And another trick I found is to kind of plant yourself in one spot near the edge of the screen and just keep firing. You'll take some hits, but way less than when you actually try to play the game and have some fun. Why do so many Godzilla sequels change genres? I'm sorry, I'm still hung up on this. How do you go from this to this? I guess it's okay to change things up, but these sequels always feel like the leftover shit on Godzilla's tail. I'm not doing much better here as the land monster. What the hell happened with Earth's gravity? By the way, on most 3DS games I have, the jump button is B, but in this game, the jump button is A. 'Cause fuck me, right? Oh, how can I forget? Every 10 seconds you have to stop what you're doing to destroy a space crystal. And you do it by entering combos. Over and over and over.
This is your life now. Suddenly those generators in Godzilla Versus don't look so bad, huh? You sit here entering combos for like a full minute. Do you know how long a minute is? Put it this way. That was 5 seconds. How long did that feel? How scared were you that I was going to wait the entire minute? If you do well on the combos, you get a prize, like temporary invincibility. Thank God I can fly in peace for a few seconds. Okay, now it's time for a boss fight. And what is this? He can go under and behind me, and I can't even turn around and face him. That's not a fair fight.
Mothra's lasers barely do anything.
The hit detection is off, I think? Not a lot happens to him when you strike him to make it feel like your hits are landing. I'm too focused on this fight, so I can't look at the health bar, but I guess it's going down a little bit with each hit. But you can't tell at all that you're actually hurting him unless you do your big attack. Which is a pain in the ass, because they'll always hit you first. That's the other thing. The enemy's attack will always overpower your attack, even if you launched your attack first. That is so annoying. The same thing happens with other bosses. They always seem to have an unfair advantage in the fights. This isn't fun. I'd rather put my dick between the two screens and slam my 3DS closed. What the fuck? Why is Mecha King Ghidorah so gigantic? I'm regular King Ghidorah, and I'm like 90% smaller. Actually, it feels more like he's the right size, and I'm the one who's too small.
There aren't a lot of kaiju in the game, but you do get to see some of your favorites.
Orga's there, Jet Jaguar, even Manda pops up. And there's a new monster, a Sphinx. Wow. Amazing creativity, you guys. Oh my god, that sound is so annoying. I don't even know what it is, but it makes me want to shove my head up my own ass. You know, so I have some quiet. The levels each look very different, but it's just a new coat of paint on the same pile of bullshit. Every stage is the same. Destroy a crystal, get shot at over and over, fight a monster. In fact, here's the insane thing about this game. The thing that defies all logic. Everything is shooting at you and kicking your ass, yet somehow this game is really easy. It makes no sense. This game is simultaneously difficult and easy.
I mean, I beat it the first time I ever played it. I beat one playthrough, but I breezed right through.
How is this game both hard and easy at the same time? Look, my 3DS caught fire because it can't comprehend this. What is this thingy? Do I touch it? Look, it almost killed me. Okay, here it is again now on another level. I'm not touching it this time. Wait, now I need to touch it to advance the level? This game is a paradox! Double Smash feels so much like an unlicensed mobile app. Even the looping music reminds me of those mobile games I reviewed a little while back. And the graphics look like a mobile game. This whole thing feels like a stupid mobile game. Huh. You know, I keep saying it, but I guess literally it is a mobile game. But you get my point!
Speaking of mobile games, this game is Double Smash. Is the next game in the series that old mobile game, Godzilla Smash 3? Where was Smash 1? I'm kidding about this, but I do want to smash my 3DS right now.
Look, I know a portion of you probably have fond, nostalgic memories of this game because you owned it when you were younger. Well, I'm glad you liked it, but you deserved so much better, and I feel like my generation has failed you, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry we gave you Godzilla Unleashed Double Smash. Oh my god, this game is like one big riddle. Maybe that's why the Sphinx is in it. Oh, great Sphinx. Will you let me pass?
Not unless you can solve the riddle of the Sphinx.
Okay, what's the riddle?
I am both incredibly difficult and incredibly easy. I am built for fun, yet I provide none. And also, I am a really shitty game. Who am I?
Are you Godzilla Unleashed Double Smash? Derp! Godzilla, also known as Godzilla Versus, came out for PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4 in 2014. Reception was harsh. Most gaming sites gave this game mixed to negative.
Cheese and
crackers!
It's Godzilla. Oh no.
Wow, that woman is extremely annoying.
I hope Godzilla doesn't destroy the generator.
Oh my god, shut the The first and most important thing you should know about Godzilla Versus is that this is not a hyper-ballistic fighting game like Godzilla Unleashed or Save the Earth, what have you. There's no fast action or air juggling here. There's no couch co-op. I really don't even think this should be classified as a fighting game, to be honest. Instead, what Godzilla Versus sets out to do is put you in a Godzilla movie. They give you the music, the kaiju, the city, all the tools you need to—
I just thought of a funny joke.
Oh my god! Get out of here!
Why don't seagulls fly over the bay?
The controls in this game can be clunky, and they do take some getting used to. Just like in the movies, these monsters are huge, slow, lumbering, and even a little clumsy. It might test your patience or even frustrate you, but truth be told, this game is the closest experience that currently exists to being Godzilla. I'll tell you what, I quite like this game.
4 stars!
Hear me out. Originally, the bad reviews scared me off, and they have valid criticisms that we will address. But overall, this game really grew on me. In my opinion, this game has a place in Godzilla gaming history. When you first get Godzilla Versus, you need to unlock virtually everything. You can do this by playing the storyline in the God of Destruction mode. Here's the good news, the Destruction mode story is quick, and after playing through it twice, I had unlocked nearly every monster. So that's good. Here's what you might say is the bad news. The levels in the storyline are repetitive as hell. This is where reviews were the most harsh, and they're not wrong. You're gonna be destroying generators, fighting monsters, 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 destroying generators, fighting—
Won't somebody make it stop?
If that sounds too basic and boring for you, I get it. But to me, 1, repetition doesn't automatically make a game bad, and 2, I find it fun because I'm controlling Godzilla and I'm absolutely demolishing a city. What else is Godzilla supposed to do, sell used cars? And I could be other kaiju too, and they each have their own unique powers and abilities consistent with the films. I don't know about you guys, but being a movie-accurate space Godzilla and flying around is fun to me. You know what this game feels like? Like a large-scale 3D version of Rampage. Rampage was repetitive as hell, like virtually every game from that era. But it's considered a classic because it's fun to be a monster and destroy buildings.
Am I getting through to you?
When you fight another monster, again, it's not like a fighting game. It's more like a fight you'd actually see in a Godzilla movie, for better or for worse. They hit you, you hit them. There's little skill or strategy, just like in the movies. I just can't fault the developers for giving us a playable Godzilla film. But all this said, yes, of course this game has some flaws. Why can't I even hear this woman in the game? I'm Godzilla, I shouldn't be hearing from the military side. Sometimes you have to collect data for the military so they can better attack you. Well, why would I do that? I don't want them attacking me. Did you hear that guy scream as he died? I didn't need to hear that. Look, I'm obliterating this city. Do you know how many lives I'm taking? I don't need to be reminded of that by hearing their screams. Think about it. This game has a death count way higher than any Call of Duty game. The camera can get weird and very annoying. And some monsters are so big you really can't see around them. I can't see what's going on at all right here. You can easily fall into bad patterns during fights, and if you're facing the wrong way while being attacked, you're basically screwed. That gets frustrating, and it's a reason I'm not bothering much with the online multiplayer games. Speaking of which, I'm not sold that this format lends well to online multiplayer. Yeah, it's cool that you can fight real people and have up to 3 kaiju at once. But there's hardly any skill here. Again, let's just drop the idea that this is a fighting game. I've seen some reviews be harsh on the graphics. I'm playing the PS4 version here, and I think the graphics are fine for what it is.
But yeah, there are annoying flaws like when your body part goes through solid objects. Other than those things, I personally have love for this game. It's a mindless game I can play where I don't have to think and I can just let out some rage. Look, I get to play out fights we've never seen in a movie, like Jet Jaguar versus the Smog Monster. If you're a regular gamer, you probably won't find what you want in this game. But if you're a G fan, yeah, I say scoop this game up. The team who made this definitely love and respect Godzilla, and it shows. It's got everything you'd want. It has your favorite characters with their trademark sounds. It even has their special intros. I love the little touches. I love how the camera shakes a little with each step. Details like this really elevate the game's environment for me. Just ditch the idea that this is a fighting game like Godzilla Unleashed and the others, and take this in as more of a Godzilla movie simulator, or a mindless destruction game like Rampage. I think you might like it.
I love you.
Wait, what?
I love you. Let's just do this. I know this is crazy because you're real and I'm a game, but I love you, and we have to at least try. Will you try with me? Let's make love.
Guys, I'm gonna have to let you go now. Things are about to get weird in here.
The game's just okay. City Shrouded in Shadow was released in October 2017 in Japan exclusively for the PlayStation 4. The objective is to run through a fictional location called Iki City while it's being attacked by various threats. These threats are usually characters from different major franchises, including Ultraman, Gamera, Patlabor, Neon Genesis Evangelion, Godzilla, Kimba, Hello Kitty. City Shrouded in Shadow was never released in North America, but you can still order the game online at sites like Amazon, and it will work on your North American PlayStation 4. Although I understand that any updates or DLCs will not. But the game features no English dubbing or subtitles, so you might be wondering if it's still playable if you don't understand Japanese. Well, the answer is yeah, it actually is. I played through the entire game with barely any issues at all. And that might sound like a good thing, but it's actually not. But we'll get to that later. This game is a spiritual successor to the series of games called Disaster Report. It's a mostly linear survival game, with goals usually being to get from point A to point B and avoid dangers along the way. The game is divided into 17 stages, with each stage having a specific nearby threat. So for example, Stage 1 has Ultraman fighting a Zarab alien nearby, while Stage 2 features Legion soldiers from the Gamera franchise. Note that throughout the game, the different intellectual properties never cross over. There's never a point where Godzilla and Ultraman are sharing a screen. All of the properties are compartmentalized, which I imagine was a term in the licensing agreements. So the whole thing starts with you choosing your gender, then choosing the woman you are about to meet. Whichever gender you make yourself, you're meeting with a woman, and that woman can be a childhood friend, your lover, it's your choice. Eventually, the aforementioned battle with Ultraman breaks out, and while you're running, you accidentally witness an illegal transaction with the Yakuza. You find the girl you were supposed to meet, and then the bulk of the game from there becomes the two of you trying to escape disasters while dodging the Yakuza. You can change your appearance, including your clothing, which can also alter your life bar. You can also shop at markets for food and drinks to replenish health and stamina. And you can change the appearance of your companion. Hey guys, who wore it better? In terms of actual gameplay, you're going to be spending the majority of this game doing one of three things. Running, hitting the square button to react to a QuickTime event, making choices. There are a lot of choice prompts in this game. But this isn't like Detroit Become Human, where the choices branch off into entirely different gaming experiences. Rather, in this game, most choices have no long-term effect. Since I can't read Japanese, I spent most of the game just making random selections in the choice menu, and it didn't really affect much at all. So then why even have choices? I played through the main storyline and didn't spend much time on side stories or searching for collectibles, and I breezed through to the end pretty quickly. In fact, this game is surprisingly easy. I mentioned that you can stock up on food to replenish your health. Well, I didn't have to do that once through the entire game. Not once! There are a lot of save points, and when you save, your health is replenished. So I never needed any of the food or anything like that. And if you die, you just play that little section again until you figure it out. I only got stuck on one section in the entire game, and it was with this damn car ramming into my ass over and over. Jesus, buy me dinner first! When there are QuickTime reaction events, the only button you'll ever need to hit is square. That's it. So dodging the same things with the same button gets old really fast. And again, I have no command of the Japanese language, but if you've ever played a video game before, you can pretty much figure a lot of this out. Oh, the door is locked? Well, then I must need to find a key somewhere. You'll always be pretty sure what to do, even if you're not exactly sure why you're doing it.
I was happy to be able to pick up this game and play it all the way through the end without understanding any of the language, but that's not a sign of a good video game. Think about it, how many current-gen video games in this genre would you be able to play all the way through without reading a single word of dialogue or instructions? How many could you play all the way through without ever needing to use any of the health power-ups that are available? This game's profound simplicity is really good for us North Americans who just want to explore it as tourists. But as a video game, if you're playing this as a gamer, I can't imagine being satisfied with this game.
And there's so much talking. Oh my god. Make no mistake, this would feel extraneous even if the game were in English. Thankfully, you can skip sections of the dialogue, but wow. Wow. These talkie sections really kill the momentum of the game. The game works best during close encounters with the threats. I like the sections where I was in a skyscraper and a kaiju battle was nearby. Those moments really put you in the situation. You feel the rumbling of the unstable building, and I loved catching glimpses of the battle outside. During these shiny moments, you could really feel the weight of these monsters. And the same can be said sometimes when you're on the ground. Even Ultra Warriors feel like a threat due to their enormity. This game does a great job making you feel so insignificant and small during these events. Also, in what other game can you get this close to Ultra 7's crotch? There's a level with a Dada alien that actually felt genuinely scary. In a real-world situation, these aliens are kind of frightening. You get to ride a vehicle here or there, those moments break things up a little better. It's just that every time this game does something right, the next moment is so wrong. This entire level's a song. They're still singing. This entire level is a song. The game suffers a bit visually as well. There are frame rate issues more than a few times. Fast action can start lagging, things feel clunky. There are glitches. Like, look at this abomination I was able to capture on video. To be fair, the Japanese gamers might have gotten some patches to fix some of this since the release. Graphics-wise, the city is okay, but it's not as well fleshed out as, say, Watch Dogs. This game feels very bare minimum. I found myself playing this game mostly motivated by wondering what properties I'd see in the following level. But that's not a good enough reason to want to keep playing a game. As I played, I kept asking myself, how would I feel about this exact same game, but if it were all original characters and no popular licenses? Take out Ultraman, take out Godzilla, replace them with generic monsters and aliens. Would this still be as enjoyable to play through? And for me, the answer is no.
Like I said, most of the enjoyment came from basically just being a tourist, wandering through the game looking for my favorite characters.
2 stars!
This game isn't offensively bad. I don't want to rip into it and just say it sucks. It just feels half-baked, unfinished. Like I said before, bare minimum. Definitely not compelling enough to keep coming back to it for any reason other than looking for more licensed characters. And if you watch this video and you still want to check out City Shrouded in Shadow, I wouldn't blame you. I still think you might enjoy it more if you're just playing it as a tourist, just to see your favorite properties, but at the end of the day, I need to judge this on its merit as a video game and not on its gimmick. And in that regard, it was kind of a letdown.
Now walk into his asshole.
Okay. Growing up in the 1990s, it always seemed like home virtual reality headsets were always just around the corner. We're almost there! VR has been teased to me for decades, so getting a PSVR when it came out in 2016 was a big deal for me. This was a long time coming. And being a Godzilla fan, have I mentioned I'm a Godzilla fan? Of course, being a Godzilla fan, I've always dreamed about a Godzilla VR game. This sort of happened in 2016. To coincide with the release of the film Shin Godzilla, there was a Shin Godzilla game on the PlayStation VR. Well, not a game, more like a demo. An immersive experience of a Shin Godzilla attack. This was only available in Japan through the PlayStation Store. I haven't played it, and sadly, I guess I never will. That hurts because it looks like a really fun experience. I've always wanted to look up at Godzilla in a VR world, and then be crushed by a boulder. But now, in 2024, there is a brand new Godzilla VR game in arcades called Godzilla Kaiju Wars. And this is thanks to Raw Thrills. Raw Thrills is based out of Illinois, and these are the guys who gave us a ton of cool arcade games like the modern Jurassic Park game, King Kong of Skull Island VR, and its upcoming sequel. Not counting many pachinko machines or slot machines, this is only Godzilla's second arcade game ever. The first was way back in 1993. It was the Bon Presto game, just called Godzilla. And that was only released in Japan, so Kaiju Wars is the first Godzilla arcade game released in America ever. That's pretty wild. So this is an exciting time, and it's extra exciting for me because for the first time on this goddamn video game review show, I get to leave the house. Dave & Buster's, the Las Vegas of Applebee's, where you can play Drew Gooden's Quick Drop, or relax on some hungry hippos, or be a football hero.
Don't worry, I'll edit this to make you look good.
They've even got a VR MIB machine, although I don't remember them asking my permission. I've got some unfinished business here. Years ago, I reviewed every Rampage video game except the arcade game, based on the movie with The Rock. Well, let's finally finish the list while I'm here. I'm gonna be Ralph, even though he doesn't have the exclamation mark. The game looks really smooth, and it's well animated. Punching the building, or in my case, smacking my head on the building, doesn't really feel as satisfying as other Rampage games. But more important, all the trademark cartoon fun and humor of the Rampage brand is gone. That was my problem with the film, too. That was so much of the appeal for me. If you're gonna take that away, I don't even see the point of adapting Rampage. The marquee for Crazy Town feels more like Rampage than this Rampage game. Do not recommend. Ooh, a Jurassic World game. Whatever could this be? You push a truck. That's the game. And then you get tickets. That's, still better than Dominion! I got to play the Jurassic Park game from Raw Thrills that I mentioned earlier, and I enjoyed it a lot. Godzilla Kaiju Wars was popular, and it's no wonder it was named the Arcade Game of the Year by itself. It took some time before I could get in the seat and try it out. It's too bad I wasn't on this trip to review Wicked Tuna. There was no wait for Wicked Tuna. You and your co-pilot man the turrets and fly around shooting at everything. Meanwhile, the ride is moving, wind is blowing at you. It feels very immersive. There are 2 levels at the time I make this video, with 3 more coming later. Each level is the exact right amount of time. Long enough to feel satisfied after playing, but short enough where you don't have to wait too long for your turn. Both levels involve you flying around a city that's under attack by Megaguirus, Manda, and their army of bugs and terrible-looking serpents.
Both levels also have moments where you're shooting at these mecha things. I don't know what they are, but I want a toy of them. Toward the end of both levels, Godzilla makes his grand entrance. These are the best parts. When I heard that roar and knew I was about to face the big G, I got super excited. You and your partner need to fend off his foot stomps, his claws, and his atomic breath. It's exhilarating. Whoops, timeout. Gotta play a different arcade shooter. I just found myself shooting at everything that moved in this Godzilla game, even planes that I'm pretty sure were on my side. There are moments where you can rescue planes, similar to rescuing people in House of the Dead 2, which is still at my Dave & Buster's. The gun's just always firing. It's madness. I definitely recommend trying this game out, though. You can only play it for yourself, or play a game like it, to fully understand the experience. But I'm not going to say it's perfect. It is a lot of stimuli hitting you in the face, a lot of information for your brain. And that's fine for short bursts. But at one point in the night, I played both episodes back to back. Afterwards, I had some minor eye strain. I don't usually get eye strain when I play my PSVR, even for long intervals. But playing Godzilla Kaiju Wars VR, I did not get motion sickness. And that is a thing that can happen to me sometimes when I play VR. I had no nausea playing Kaiju Wars, just the minor eye strain. But it's not hard to figure out why this particular game brought on the eye strain. I found the helmet a bit heavier than I'm used to, and it took some doing to get it to feel somewhat comfortable. But even with the helmet and the eye strain, I couldn't wait for any chance to get back into this game. The Kaiju War world felt very addicting. After playing so much Kaiju Wars, games like Ghostbusters felt dull and unimpressive. I'm not saying arcade shooters need to be ultra hyper, I'm just saying it's hard to go from colorful chaos to something more muted like this. Although Ghostbusters did give me mad tickets. Let's see what I've got here. Enough to shop the high end of the cheap shit section. I can't afford a Sonic the Hedgehog stretchy or a Funko Pop. What am I, Rockefeller? One can only dream of being able to afford a Cuisinart or Massager. Slush machines are for the upper class. I decided the perfect way to commemorate this night was with a Dave & Buster's shot glass in Godzilla green. Or do I want this phone holder? After we cashed out, we decided to nab dessert. I've been eyeballing this s'mores cheesecake. It was so rich I couldn't finish it, and I'm pretty sure it's still sitting in my stomach. I enjoy collecting shot glasses from places I visited. Iceland, Switzerland, Mexico, and now Dave & Buster's. I think you should check out Godzilla VR. Like I said, this is Godzilla's first time in American arcades, but he sure entered with a bang.